Hello everyone, I'm Brian Croydregan and welcome back to Vox Adventures. Yeah, it's been a while. Monday was Thanksgiving, and on Wednesday I went to see Richard III at Stratford. Very good, excellent. Yeah, and this is the first time me and Trionis have been on at the same time. Uh, I think I've actually reached the edge southwise and well, pretty much everywhere but northwest. So we'll try to head north. Uh, and we'll be going longer since I'm over COVID. Well, not. Well, I no longer have COVID. I've still got the sore throat and runny nose that it left me. Rain yesterday, hail today. So I wonder if I'll ever get out for a walk. Oh. Let's get down so we don't have phantoms. And, yeah, I'll just do a little bit of reading when we rate. Quite nice. Those chess pieces. Yes, well, let's get on our way. Richard III was very, very good. Richard was played by Comfrior. And it actually had modern bookends. Back in 2016, I believe, Richard's bones were found beneath a parking lot. And the opening of the play is the discovery of Richard's body. And out of the excavation hole, however you describe it, Comfrior rocks and utters that those mortal first lines. Now is the winter of our discontent, made glorious summer by the son of York. It's just perfect, and it actually returns for the wee, and at the end we get the wee burial of Richard's bones, since that's something that actually happened. It was very, very good. First play I've seen at the new Tom Patterson Theatre. And I've been waiting 11 years to see Richard III. It's... it was well worth the wait. Tyrone Savage was also in it. I was introduced to him through the animated adaptation of Redwall, done by Nirvana. He provided the voice of Matthias. Yeah, it's quite nice. The actor who played Clarence, that would be the George Duke of Clarence, the middle brother, because you have to remember Richard was actually the youngest of the three. There's Edward IV, George Duke of Clarence, and then you have Richard. He was played by Matthew Blake, I believe. Something Blake. Who, of course, I've seen before, and many other things. For instance, he was this poster right here is actually for Macbeth from the 2016 season, and he played Macduff in that. But I actually first was introduced to him when he was Antonio in 12th Night, all the way back in 2011. 11 years ago, so keep that number in mind. I've been waiting 11 years to see Richard III. 11 years and yeah, he was there in one of the first shows I saw at Stratford, but not the first show I saw at Stratford. The first show I saw at Stratford was the Peter Pan. I went with the cast of my school production. I was actually playing two characters. One was the dog Nana, and the other was the pirate Alf Mason. It was hell in the dog suit. Dog suit plus hot stage lights equals tears and sweat. Remember that. J.M. Barrie said a boy should play Nana if one clever enough could be found. It's a compliment, but the hot stage lights really leave you suffering. Anyway, Clarence's death scene. A lot of productions I've seen, because I've actually seen 3 screen adaptations. There was the episode for Shakespeare the Animated Tales. There's the film for The Hollow Crown, specifically in the War of the Roses. Wars of the Roses series. And then there's the Laurence Olivier one. Now, typically with Clarence, the murderers just kill him and that's it. At this stage production, which I do believe was filmed, Clarence actually goes out fighting. He tries to fight back, but ultimately he is killed. Can't really call it a spoiler since well, the play's been around since the late reign of Elizabeth I. Bloody Bess, as my Irish kin call her. The character of Tyrone was also turned into a woman. Rather than James Tyrone, it's Jane Tyrone. Yeah, and it's interesting because the production of Hamlet they did this year had a black woman play Hamlet, but still refer to the character as male, but here Tyrone is actually played by a woman, referred to as a woman, so yeah, that's kind of interesting. I really don't have any issue with cross-casting or colorblind casting. I don't have any issue with it on stage or on film. As long as the actor can give a good performance, And actually, as long as I bring up colorblind casting, Blake, Matthew Blake, Mr. Blake, I'll just say, so Mr. Blake, he's black, but Comfrior and the actor who play Edward IV are white. But actually, the only criticism I have is that Mr. Blake is, he's playing the middle brother, but he's much younger than both of the, and I don't know his actual age, but he's clearly much younger than Comfrior and the actor playing Edward. That was correct. Yeah, there's many excellent actors in Richard III. Stratford has some of the best, has a lot of the best actors in the country, or at least the best in Ontario. Yeah, we've had many of the greats. Oh, jeez. Back in 1953, for the first season of the Stratford Festival, the role of Richard was played by, not a Canadian actor, no, but still we've had the greats. Well, of course ours are the greats, but we've had, distinguished foreign visitors, I suppose you might say. And the role of Richard was, played by none other than Alec Guinness, famous for such later films as Lawrence of Arabia, The Fall of the Roman Empire, and the original Star Wars trilogy. Yeah, that's pretty incredible. And of course, last year we lost one of the greats. One of our own. And his name was Christopher Plummer. An actor I had the honor of actually seeing perform live at Stratford. It's funny I bring up Alec Guinness because he and Christopher Plummer were both in The Fall of the Roman Empire. Alec Guinness as Marcus Aurelius, Christopher Plummer as Commodus. Yeah, we've had many of the greats got their start at Stratford. The greats on an international stage, I suppose you might say, who went on to go. The greats who went on to appear on the international stage. And some of these actors I was actually introduced to through animation. Some of them voiced characters in the shows produced by Nirvana, and I believe they might still, many of them might still do work for Nirvana, but I was introduced to them through such works. Ron Kyoran, he's been in many things since the 90s. Stephen Ramey as well. even before my time. He was the voice of Beetlejuice in the animated series. He was also the voice of Chuck in the Tales from the Crypt Keeper episodes that involved Chuck and Melvin. Yeah, many great actors. We've even had Brian Dennehy a few times before his unfortunate passing, and I did get the chance to see him on 12th Night. Colin Feore is a magnificent actor. He actually appears in one of my favorite Marvel movies. In fact, I'd probably say it is my favorite. It's the original Thor, the first Thor film, where he played Laufey. The film, of course, being directed by my favorite director and actor, Kenneth Branagh. It's just really amazing, and of course I saw him in King Lear as well. A very, very excellent production which was filmed. I've got the DVD. Oh, I actually forgot about Ian McKellen's Richard III, which I don't own on DVD. I did see it on YouTube. You know, back when putting movies on YouTube in parts was acceptable. Well, you still can, but they have to be public domain, I'm thinking. Not that he directed the film, but Richard Crane, I think, was the name of the director. Whoa there. I don't think I'm not sure Stratford's ever had Ian McKellen perform, but I'm pretty sure we've had Maggie Smith. I mean, yeah, I don't actually live in Stratford, but still, it's Ontario's most distinguished theatre community, and I am an Ontarian. Yeah, I know we've had Maggie Smith. You're fine. Can you lay down, please? Oh, jeez. Yeah, I've talked quite a bit about Stratford and Richard III. The one non-Shakespearean portrayal I know of Richard would be in well, that's not true. There's Tower of London, but I've not seen that. It would be the Robert Louis Stevenson book, The Black Arrow, which has been adapted for the screen a few times. I do own a screen adaptation by Air Programs International, animated, of course, and it's very good. It's perhaps one of the few heroic portrayals of the man. Rain ceased. Looks like I'll be going for a walk after all. Later. The Battle of Bosworth Field was excellently done with even there being a horse, not an actual horse, mind you, for a comfier to ride on. And Richard's death, instead of him actually fighting Richmond or being killed by a member of Richmond's forces, Richard is actually surrounded, and the one man on from his side that he has with him just cuts his throat and offers Richard's sword to Richmond, who of course is Henry VII. After Richmond takes Richard's sword and kills the man who just killed Richard with it. Yeah, it's Richard's a villain protagonist, but Richmond isn't that great either. It's things have changed. It's well, some productions might favor Richmond as this rather flat hero who just comes in to liberate England. The more historically minded are aware that Henry VII was himself a usurper, just as Richard was a usurper. But the difference between the two is that Henry VII, his usurpation was violent. It was done by force. Richard, he was the leader of his forces at the Battle of Bosworth Field, and Richard, of course, died at that battle. Richard, on the other hand, had his nephews, Edward V and Richard, Duke of York, declared illegitimate, allowing him to take the throne. And I can't remember the exact the exact details, but Henry VII had an even weaker claim to the throne than Richard did. Truly, they're both descendants of Edward III. But if I remember correctly, Richard may have been a descendant of one of Edward III's older sons. Henry VII might have been a descendant of a younger one. But basically, that wasn't just it. Henry VII's entire basically, he took the crown by force, took the throne by force, and married Elizabeth of York, daughter of Edward IV, sister of Edward V, niece of Richard III. So basically, his whole legitimization attempt was just by marrying the daughter of one of his predecessors. Yeah, it's really grey. It's a usurper usurping a usurper, but between the two of them, yeah, Richard didn't exactly take it via bloodshed, historically. Well, there's definitely no question that Henry Tudor, Henry VII, or the Earl of Richmond, however you want to call him, yeah, he definitely did take it through bloodshed. Yeah, it's a magnificent play, and the fact that I've basically been talking about it for at least 45 minutes, just tells you what a good time I had. And I should have. I've been waiting 11 years to see Richard III. 11 years being the last time it was performed on stage. For goodness sake. Comfrey really committed to his role, and even walking with a limp in a rather unnatural fashion. Because the leg's a bit twisted. It's not, I'm not exactly sure, but oh god, if only Laden was available, but of course the area beneath the desk isn't exactly clear, so yeah, I'm just saying it's not a natural way to have one's leg. A natural position to have one's leg. And keep in mind, Comfrey has probably been doing this since April with rehearsals. no, maybe I won't be going for a walk. It's getting overcast again. Yeah, but we'll see. Was curious, but let's see, our table of contents. Oh, I see. Halfway. Whoa. I've talked quite a bit about Richard III. Let's talk about something else. Still continuing with my Halloween movie marathon. Watched the most recent version of The Invisible Man last night. Gonna be rewatching Jason and the Argonauts later. I know that's not something people typically think of as Halloween related, but it's a movie I like to watch every October. And not just during October, it's just a really good movie. Nigel Green is perhaps one of the best actors who have ever played Hercules, and he's just really got a good look about him. Writing art, A Tale of Heracles, I definitely modeled Heracles after Nigel Green. He was just a really good actor and really gave a good performance. He's really one of the best. Yeah, one of the best alongside actors like Paul Telfer, Brian Thompson. Ryan Gosling. Len Burnham. Lawrence Bain. And unfortunately, I must say it, even with his fall from grace, Kevin Sorbo. Well, isn't that just like us to end up in a war zone? Or just like me, I'm the one doing the traveling here. Yeah, Jason and the Argonauts, without a doubt, Ray Harryhausen's best movie. I highly recommend it. And I'm actually surprised that people think Ray Harryhausen invented the story. Yeah, that's quite a bit of ignorance there, but you know, everyone seems to have the difficulty comprehending that some stories are older than people tend to think they are. Uh, Hallmark did a mini-series adaptation of the story, which, although loose itself, is actually much more faithful, both to, let me just put it this way, both the Harryhausen film and the Hallmark miniseries are loose adaptations, but they're just, but one's a bit less loose than the others, even though, what, the one is more less loose than the others, even though it does take its liberties. It's basically just the more faithful one, and even goes for a more authentic costuming and culture wise approach. I like seeing authentic, more for an authentic approach in the costuming and set design. And even with the culture, it's good. It's good. It's probably why the comic book series Age of Bronze is so appealing to me. Yeah, just not does it tell the tale of the Trojan War, and does it interestingly without the fantastic elements, but all of the costuming, all of the architecture, it's authentic. So you don't have armor more associated with I don't know, the time of Alexandros III of Macedon. That would be Alexander the Great, or armor more associated with the Greco-Persian Wars, which were of course covered in, well, a portion of it was covered in the 300 Spartans, and it's the lesser film 300. Of course, 300 does have a comic book as a basis, but even then 300's not exactly great. Frank Miller's a lot of things, but I don't know, I'd say he's probably an example of someone who bumbled his way to greatness. In some cases, you could even say that about Walt Disney, but that's a different subject. Entertainment is strange. But then again, the term bumble, you can use the phrase bumbled the way to greatness for anything, not just entertainment. There's always going to be that one. There's always going to be those people that you not you really don't see and as being all that great. And on the term of on the subject of Walt Disney bumbling his way to greatness, I think it's um more of a semi case. Yeah, it's more of a semi case. He had blunders that people still that I can't really fathom for the reason they loved, but then he did really, really good things, and people still love them, and I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but I guess that's just the way of things. Hey, Alex. What are you up to? Lay down. Oh, isn't that convenient? I don't know. On the subject of Walt Disney, I find his work a bit of a mixed bag. But then again, everyone has someone they find their work. Everyone's gonna find someone's work a bit of a mixed bag. Of course, I could call saying that's basically the case for the entire company that bears the man's name. A mixed bag, and everyone's putting something on a pedestal, regardless of how good it might actually be. Oh, the mushrooms. Okay, let's figure this out. Damn it. Oh, for God's sake. I've not read much of Frank Miller's work. I've only really read The Dark Knight Returns. It's okay. It's not fantastic, but it's okay. I don't know, people treat it like the definitive Batman story. I just see it as a... just another story. I personally find Batman and Tarzan, Claws of the Catwoman, much better, far superior. Batman Dark Allegiance is also much better. Yeah, it's just when it comes to stories outside of the mainstream continuity, I feel like The Dark Knight Returns, not as great as a lot of people make it out to be. It's really just okay. But stories like Gotham by Gaslight, Claws of the Catwoman, Dark Allegiances, Batman vs. Dracula, Red Rain. Yeah, I really enjoy those. Dark Knight Returns, yeah, it's okay, and I don't know, with Frank Miller's general personality, it gets a little less okay as time goes on. Still can't believe that was required reading for my graphic novel class. Do I even still have that? I don't know. Oh yeah, there it is. There it is. The Batman 66 comics, I really enjoy. They're, in general, more fun. And sure, yeah, I like the depressing Batman too, but I like the darker Batman too, but I like it done well. I once read that Frank Miller believed that Batman would be, that his portrayal of Batman would have been happier if he'd been gay. Yeah, I no. A sexuality doesn't make anyone happier. You, with what happened, he'd still be a messed up individual. I just, depending on the setting. Adam West's Batman, of course, still has the whole parents were killed thing, but he turned out better, so it's definitely not a case of sexuality. It's really more a case of what the writer wants. And personally, realistically speaking, yeah, a person's sexuality isn't really gonna determine anything. Whether they're happy or not, whether they end up messed up or not. Of course, that was his description was for All-Star Batman, which I've not read and I'm not really interested in reading. I really have no interest in Frank Miller's work. Yes, Alex. Though I do have the animated adaptation of The Dark Knight Returns. And the film is very good. But Yeah, people put The Dark Knight Returns on a pedestal. I personally don't. I just find it okay. Yeah, I even find Batman Mask better, which is of course a adaptation of Phantom of the Opera in the with the Batman mythos. Yeah, I don't know. It's just when everyone puts something on a pedestal, you know, it's just, yeah, I don't know. You might not find it the same way. Yeah. Well, 9 minutes to lunch. 9 minutes, 8 minutes. What is time? You're fine, Alex. Yeah, what was my first introduction to Batman? Oh, I don't know. The 90s was filled with Batman reruns of the Adam West series. There was the Batman the Animated series. There was the Tim Burton and Schumacher films, which were, of course, always playing on television. I don't know, it's just like, when it came to superheroes, the 90s was the era of Batman. The decade of Batman. Just a surplus of the character. Well, that would be all for today. I'm Brian Croydregan signing out. Stay straight.